Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Alrighty then, ladies and gents and persons, it's Miss Steph, and I am live right here on Facebook and Instagram. It's nice to see you today. Definitely hope that you are well. And this activity, y'all know I'm like sharing stuff, on Facebook and stuff. I'm talking to you and multitasking. But this activity, though pretty simple, is foundational for a lot of other things. And so, like, if you're trying to mix things together, you need to know whether or not certain things are what we call soluble, if they easily combine, right? If you can get a certain solid to combine with a specific liquid. All right, we'll find out what things are and are not soluble in water. And of course, we're going to check in and see whether or not things are soluble in specific water temperatures. Hello. Yes. That's important. Okay. And whether or not things are, or a specific thing is soluble in oil, in cooking oil, right? These things are important to us. I guarantee you, this basic activity will illuminate certain scientific concepts for you and will help you in your future of being the awesome and wonderful scientist that I know each and every one of you is. So, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Miss Steph. And we are ready for, or rather, I am ready for science fun. Are you ready for science fun? Do you have your materials? Did you check out the preview? I've been releasing previews on Instagram, Facebook, and like a couple other places so that you have the materials that you need. You should have some cups. You're going to need 3 because we're going to do 3 samples today, okay? You need 3 cups. You also need a spoon per cup because we don't want to go around cross-contaminating and doing that kind of stuff. Hello, shenanigans. And we'll talk a little bit about cross-contamination later, like in a little bit. Age, yes. Again, I'm still sharing. And you also need, okay, you're going to need, I'm trying to like multitask here, guys. It's a bad idea, multitasking. You also need some, like I said, water. You need 2 temperatures of water to really do what we're going to do. Okay. I'm using cold and hot. All right. And you need some cooking oil, or you could try baby oil or whatever, but it definitely is important that you do try this with some form of oil, right? So that you get an idea of how things behave in oil. All right. So, like I said, today we're doing a solubility test. Solubility. Everybody say solubility. Again, solubility. Hey, solubility. Solubility. Okay, now here's the thing about solubility. Solubility is the ability, I say ability, of something. Typically, we say a solid. Okay, is the ability of a solid to mix or dissolve to some level, right? Maybe partially or completely inside of a liquid. So we're taking a solid, dropping it inside of a liquid, and seeing whether or not those things really combine and become a homogeneous mixture. Okay. Yes, I just used a lot of really fancy words, but I know the scientists who watch this show, who come on with me, can handle the fancy and the fabulous science. I know y'all can handle it. So I am going to further clarify as I go along. The ability of a solid, like I said, typically it's a solid. If you want to go like real high core fancy, we're looking at a solid mixing inside of a liquid and seeing whether or not it has the ability to mix together. Okay, so that's what we're talking about when we're talking about solubility. And the temperature of the liquid can make a difference. Okay, because when we're talking about solubility, sometimes it's not just whether yes or no it mixes in, but it's also how quickly it mixes in. Yeah. You see, also, y'all, yes, I said y'all. Ha! Will not be the first or the last time you will hear me say that. Also, y'all have to remember that you can ask me and make suggestions for activities, right? Like you don't just have to go off of what random shenanigans I feel like doing, which really, frankly, I do have like a book on my desk and I have other like years of experience. So I can come up with shenanigans. Yeah, I can come up with stuff to do. But that does not mean that we are not collaborative and doesn't mean that you don't get an opportunity to make suggestions. So, anywho, like I said, we are doing hot water, relatively hot water. Hey, hi. Okay, we're doing relatively cold water, and you know how I roll. This is reduce, reuse, recycle. Yes, I have no shame. This is the same water bottle refill that I've been using, since September. Okay, reduce, reuse, recycle. Like if you can, go ahead and reuse that puppy. Alrighty then. Then we have, I'm just using cooking oil. As I mentioned, you could use various oils just in case you wanted to try something, but it is important that you use some oil for this activity just so that it's like it's different enough, right? Yeah, you could use vinegar as well. You could try, some other things. Like let's not get too crazy because we want to be like safe with this particular activity. This activity we're not going to do, use chemicals that are unsafe. And remember last week I told you about the fact that like everything we interact with has some type of like chemical that are chemicals. There's just a difference between like synthetic chemicals, naturally occurring chemicals, all that kind of stuff. But like everything is chemical, guys. Okay? Water is a chemical. It is. And it is the most important chemical on the planet. Without water, we have a problem. Without water, we are not us. I'm just saying. All right. Salt. Salt is going to be our solid. Salt is the solid that we are going to try to dissolve, trying to test its solubility, trying to test its solubility level, trying to test its solubility time frame. Okay, right? This is what we're doing today. That's the solid that we're going to attempt to mix inside of our 3 liquids. Are we clear on those 3 liquids? Because it may seem like I only mentioned 2, but I did not. We're doing 2 temperatures of water and 1 oil. I highly suggest, or rather not highly suggest, it does need to be an oil that is liquid at the moment of your testing because solubility is a solid dissolved inside the liquid. Like that's just right. That's where we're going. So it does need to be a liquid. Okay. So let's continue and keep it moving, people. Okay. And so frequently when we talk about solubility, we're looking at whether or not something can dissolve inside of water. All right. So I'm going to take my spoons out just because I just want to do this kind of thing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my liquids down. Order does matter sometimes. In this instance, the order does not matter for what we're testing. All right. I have already labeled my cups. I have salt and oil, salt and hot water, salt and cold water. Okay. I'm doing a solubility test. Shout out. I've got somebody that just joined us on Instagram. Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you today. Exactly. What? Love. Okay. So we have our 3 liquids. We changed the liquids only. We're scientists up here, people. Okay, we did not change other things. You notice I'm using basically the same type of spoon, same size cup, and essentially about the same amount of liquid in each. All right, so now what you can see is that it's in none of the cups are we seeing the solid just immediately dissolve. Okay, so that means we need to do a little stirring. We need to do a little stirring. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. So a little bit of a stir, and really, frankly, all I'm getting is just stirred oil. Nothing is happening. All right, and so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So now my salt is starting to actually dissolve. So that stir helped it. In the hot water, my salt seems to dissolve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. In my cooler water, it's not ice cold. In my cooler water, my salt is starting to dissolve, but not as quickly as it started to dissolve in here. Okay, you can see I have less solid at the bottom. Over here, it's the same amount of solid still. So NO, is salt oil soluble? Essentially, no. If we're going for a yes, if we're going for a yes or a no when it comes to the salt and oil, not really. Even with a little help, it's not doing anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, a little bit more stir, and again, I'm getting more to dissolve in my hot water a little quicker than in my cold water. But as you can see, inside of the cold water, it will absolutely eventually dissolve. See? Now, my hot water, you notice that I'm starting to get to where it's even starting to look like the water again. And the term for that, the science term for that is dissolve, right? Our solid is actually dissolving readily, okay? Readily is our fancy science term for like easily and quickly, okay? Our solid readily dissolves inside of the hot water. Inside of our cold water, not so readily, but because you see how it's still cloudy, even though I'm stirring this now, coming like 3rd or 4th time to come over here and stir. But did it dissolve? Yes, it did. Right? It's still a little cloudy, but it has dissolved. Look over here on the hot water, my solid salt is gone. It has dissolved. Over here in my cold water, my solid salt has essentially disappeared and dissolved is what that is. Okay? So let's chit chat before we go. We're only on for just a few minutes today. I know. Just a little bit of time. But does science always have to take a long time? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And sometimes it takes like a really, really long time. Sometimes projects take, like you all been on with me, and it's like a full 45 minutes because we just needed to get stuff together. Let's recap. What did you learn? What did you experience? How can you try this at home with some different chemicals? What other chemical that looks similar to salt but has a different flavor profile could you try with these same 3 liquids? How, discuss this at home with the scientists in your home of all ages, how does this impact our science future or the things that we do in our house? One of my students yesterday during a one-on-one session, or rather not quite a one-on-one because baby sister was there, was taught, we discussed how awesome and wonderful lemonade is due to the fact that a specific solid can dissolve inside of water. Yeah. Okay. So I had a great time with you, and I hope you had a great time with me. And I hope that you will join me midweek right back here on Wednesday. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing just yet. Thank you for watching Saturday Science with Miss Steph. I've had a wonderful time hanging out with you. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to make sure that you hop over to our Patreon link for some exclusive content and perks.